Season 7 of the Clone Wars, exclusively on Disney Plus, and I felt that this was different from the other seasons because not only did it have Disney Plus original series, but also the opening narration of the show is different. Now, I haven't really been talking about the narrations of each episode. I think they're very cool, and they're great expedition. It's basically the opening crawl if it had a voice. I love hearing every episode because it keeps you up to date, and you can just watch it in any order you want. That's what makes the Clone Wars, I think, great to watch in non-linear order, just randomly just pick an episode and you'll just get caught up and you'll watch it. But I like the way they're also edited, except in Season 7. In Season 7, I don't like how they're edited, where they do kind of the fade in, or they have like narrators has a character name and they just like blip in for like a second. Very distracting and kind of annoying. I wish they didn't edit it differently. I don't know if they have different editors for that, but that kind of was distracting. Now, it wasn't like a major problem. It was only in like the Bad Batch arc that like I was like, yeah, this is kind of annoying. But I think after that arc, I kind of got used to it. With that kind of mundane stuff out of the way, let's actually talk about the arcs themselves. Now, because I have stuff to say about it. A lot of stuff. So the first arc was the Bad Batch arc. Now, this was just a origin story for the Bad Batch and Echo for their Bad Batch show. I only imagine they made Season 7 of the Clone Wars just to advertise the Bad Batch, which isn't a bad thing, but I felt like if they were gonna get the animation crew back and Dave Filoni back to make an animated show, I felt like a great way to advertise it would be to bring back another show that you have attachment to. So the show, the people basically who made the show very much just connected the two shows together. So the Bad Batch is now connected to the Clone Wars now, instead of it being just a new show that they're making. Because I think that was a better choice to do. I'm glad they did it, because now we can actually finish the show off and actually have a proper ending. So I like the Bad Batch arc. I think it's funny, even though it is obvious that they're kind of just making like an origin story. Like, it feels very spin-off-y. Like, they're playing something here with the this Bad Batch. They're gonna make a spin-off show. Like, if I didn't know the Bad Batch had a show, I would have felt this was very like, ooh, they're making a spin-off of this. It feels very much like that. Then you had the Martez Sisters Arc. Yeah, that was something. Did you really need to spend 4 episodes on that? Really? 4 episodes? I understand the animation probably cost a lot. They probably didn't want to make Season 7. They just want to get to the Bad Batch. That's why it was the first arc. Like, they just want to get to the Bad Batch. Screw Clone Wars. I feel like Disney has a vendetta against the show, and I think they just did it just for advertisement for the Bad Batch show. But it's more apparent with this arc that it's kind of obvious, because they could have made it 2 episodes and had the other 2 episodes, if they're so helping on 12 episodes, have the other 2 episodes be the Cad Bane and Boba Fett arc, where we see Boba Fett get his dent. I feel like you could have made that into 2 episodes, split the 4 episodes in half, so 2 episodes would have gone to the Martez sisters, have that entire 4-episode story just be 2 episodes. You could do that, because one of the episodes is just them escaping prison, and then returning back to prison at the end of the episode, so that was a waste of an episode. But then have the other 2 episodes be the bounty hunter stuff, because that's on a cliffhanger. We don't know what happens there. Why should I watch another show to get to know why Cad Bane fate, the end of his fate, whatever he's doing, whatever the bounty hunters are doing? Why do I need to see another show for that? Why can't the Clone Wars do that? It's a step in the Clone Wars. I want to see it finished. That's kind of what I have a problem with. I get it, only 12 episodes, can't do everything, but the whole Cad Bane stuff, the bounty hunting stuff with Boba Fett, that was obviously set up to have a payoff. And they were working on a payoff, but the Clone Wars got cancelled, so it got scrapped. So they missed the opportunity to have 2, to technically have 4 arcs, but instead they had to stretch one of them out, and we got that. On a more positive note, the final arc, the Siege of Mandalore. Wow, this felt like a movie. I originally watched this on a YouTube playlist with Revenge of the Sith also intertwined with this arc, and it feels like two halves coming together, making like a big movie. Honestly, I would love to see this as a movie with the other half, like basically Revenge of the Sith in animation. But I don't know if they're allowed to do that because the contract Disney signed with George Lucas, you can't remake the films, but technically, because it technically is remaking the film, so they can't do that, which is a shame. I think they have to go to George Lucas personally to tell him, hey, we're making this movie with the Siege of Mandalore and Revenge of the Sith. Can we remake it? Because it technically is a new film, basically. But by itself, it shows the other half of the galaxy. You know, seeing... That's what I love. I love crossovers. Even if it's just in-universe crossovers. Hearing, you know, Dooku's dead, Grievous is dead, Order 66, all of that stuff heard from the other end of it. I love it. It's so great. Also, this arc had me with another tear in my eye. Even though I kind of speed ran through the show and I didn't really grow up with it, I still got a tear in my eye. Now, I didn't cry, I just got a tear in my eye. And I had one of those, like, oh my god moments. Just laying back in my chair, similar to Season 5, the end of it. And I was, like, just thinking, like, that's it. Just the way it ended. It was beautiful. Having Vader show up at the end, him grabbing Ahsoka's lightsabers that he gave her in the beginning of the arc, it was poetic. It's just what Star Wars is. It's poetic. I like this arc. It's one of the best arcs in the entire show. Like, it's just top tier, and it does carry the season. You know, it does carry it a lot. Overall, where do I rank Season 7 of the Clone Wars? Season 7 of the Clone Wars is above Season 6 of the Clone Wars, but below Season 4. So it sits at 6th place right now, because I have one more ranking to rank. A surprise ranking. That's where Season 7 is. It's among the rest of the show, excluding Season 1 and 2. Season 7 is another great season, but along with the rest of this seasons. So now that all 7 seasons of the Clone Wars has been ranked, the entire show can now be ranked now. So I like the Clone Wars overall. Now I'm ranking the entirety of the show based off of how the show contained its overall narrative, and that's with Ahsoka. Ahsoka went from this annoying child to a mature adult. Now, I don't think she's an adult. I think she's like 17 by the end of the show, which is she's still technically a minor. But she matured, she grew up, and she's not going to do whatever she wants during the Empire, whatever she's doing, until Rebels, when that comes around. But she matured so much, and besides the first season being kind of a mishandlement of the character, everything else was great with her. They did a good job with her, including the show itself. The way the galaxy is evolving with the war. You know, more people are being distrusted by the war. More people are protesting the Clone Wars. You know, at first it's a very black and white show, but as the show continues, it goes more into the gray, where characters are good, characters are bad. And I feel like that's because the Clone Wars is pushing everyone's limitations. You know, it's kind of this real world, like a paradox. You know, a parallel. This show is basically a support for the prequel trilogy. It pretty much explains and shows in examples why the Jedi are failing, why the galaxy isn't that great of a time to be in, why it's corrupt, the corruption. It has enlightened me on a new part of Star Wars that I only got glimpses of from watching clips on YouTube, but actually watching the episodes and the seasons and progression. It has enlightened me. You know, there's a meme from Rick and Morty that you have to have high IQ in order to watch that show. But that meme should be applied to the Clone Wars. You need a high IQ in order to watch the Clone Wars. There's a lot of big brain moments that only high IQ people have, and I'm one of those. I have very high IQ. I can watch this show and understand a lot of it, because I'm an adult. I have a high IQ. I understand what the show's doing, and they're lecturing me with examples with other alien species as just the examples. And with that being said, where do I put the Clone Wars show in my ranking? I will put the Clone Wars show above Season 5, but below Revenge of the Sith. Yes, the Clone Wars show is better than every single season of the Clone Wars. This show, as a whole, beats every other season. There's no individual season that beats the Clone Wars, and which is a plus. You don't want a season to be better than the overall show. The overall show is much better than all the seasons, which is a good thing. That means the narrative of this show is consistent, and that is a great thing, and it's great to rewatch some episodes, because there's a lot of foreshadowing in this show as well, which is just amazing. I love it. So, we're at the end. And this isn't the end of the rankings, but it's the end of the Clone Wars rankings. Now, I have other videos I'm working on that I don't know if they're made by the time this is uploaded or not, but I'm working on other rankings of other shows I'm watching, and I have much planned for this series. This is just the start of it all, so if you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I'm gonna go now, so goodbye everyone.